Hello, everyone. This is Sunil Sundaraj with njvarsity.rivals.com. I'm happy to welcome in today Cedar Grove High School football senior running back and outside linebacker Tyler Rummel. Thank you so much, Tyler, for taking some time out to speak with me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, congrats, Tyler, on a great career there on the football field at Cedar Grove. You've had some time now to reflect on what you were able to accomplish there. Just wanted to ask you right off the bat, just what comes to your mind first and foremost, Tyler.
I really think having the season this year, really, despite everything going on, is really like I just feel really appreciative, and I know a bunch of my teammates and friends do too. That under these circumstances, we're still able to get 8 games, even though it wasn't what we wanted. A lot of other teams and states in the country didn't get to have a season, so I think we're all just really appreciative that we were able to play some type of football this year, and show everyone what we've worked for these past 3-4 years.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent point you made, Tyler. I mean, because you guys didn't know if you were going to have a season. Talking to Brian and Anthony, for you seniors especially, all the hard work you put in, as you said, the last 3 to 4 years, and not knowing if you were going to have a season, and it was up in the air, and then to get that green light, I'm sure just that weight was lifted off your shoulders, and with the rest of the team as well, Tyler.
Yeah, it was awesome. Hearing that, it was a really good feeling. But you could have done two things with it. Like you could have heard that we were having a season, but it was shortened and no playoffs, and you could have been like, "What am I playing for? What are we gonna do this year?" Everybody wants to play for that state title, and you could have folded right there. But our tight group of guys, we really decided that what, we're gonna make the best of it, and we're gonna push through this and just make it memorable as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean, training was very different compared to previous years, Tyler. I had to ask you individually, what you did, to prepare for the 2020 season.
So we were actually very fortunate enough to know someone who had a private gym that we were able to work out in, and it really gave us a big edge on, I think, our competition, because a lot of people didn't have that place to go work out, the local gym, or just somewhere where they could. And we were also fortunate enough to have a few friends who had like at home gyms that we were able to stop by and use. So it was just, we were really fortunate in that sense to get our training in, and we really had some good training with some quality trainers and people that actually know what they're talking about. So we really, really are thankful for that.
That's terrific. I just wanted to ask you, once you got into practices, with the rest of the team, I've heard from other players from different schools that you guys were in pods and that, of course, you had a lot of Zoom calls with coaches as well. Can you describe those first, couple of practices before, the first regular season game, Tyler?
Yeah, so we started off with those Zoom calls, and it was really just you got to really mentally prepare yourself, know the playbook. So when we're
Yeah.
going in, you can't make any mistakes, and it just makes everything go a lot smoother. You could move on to other stuff a lot quicker. So when we started up in those 10-person pods, and it was weird. It was really weird, like not being able to practice with my team, but they were like 60 yards away from me. It was
Yeah.
really weird.
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to use footballs. We had to use tennis balls at one point. At one point, we weren't even allowed to use a ball.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was hard, but you
Yeah.
got to make the best of it, and just get better every time.
Yeah. I had to ask you that first regular season game. What was that moment for you,
It was
Tyler?
it was definitely surreal. It
Yeah.
was something that I'd waited 4 years for. Even 8 years since I started playing football. Probably more than 8 years.
Yeah.
Um, it was definitely crazy, especially under times like these. We didn't even think we were gonna have a season, so it was really surreal just to be under the lights. Have the whole town, or not the whole town, but as much as we could. But
Yeah.
it was definitely an awesome feeling. And being there with my brothers was just it couldn't have been any better.
I mean, this was a special senior class. I mean, what you guys were able to accomplish over the 4 years. I'm just wondering, going into the 2020 season, any goals, any mantra, just that you guys wanted to, as far as you wanted to finish out here, Tyler.
Yeah, we wanted to go undefeated. Unfortunately that didn't happen, but
Yeah.
that was one of our main goals, and our other goal was to win a state championship, and that didn't happen. But
Yeah.
we really we really made the best of it how it was, and that's what really every team did, and it was just hard, having things taken away from you, but you really just had to push through it and look to the brighter side of things.
I mean, how difficult was that with the unknown week to week. I've asked other players that you didn't know if you were going to have a game or not. So many schools have said, and you alluded to, some teams didn't even play at all, and games canceled. You put in the time, practices, watching game film, and then it gets tripped up. I just had to, you talked about it being also a mental game as well. I mean, it's just not the physical part. Can you speak to that, Tyler?
Yes, we didn't know every week if we were gonna have a game next week. You really had to take it one week by a time and play like that game was gonna be your last. Because one crazy little incident could shut you guys down, and you never know what's gonna happen after that. So, just being ready to play against anybody. Our coach really wanted us to know that if we could get a game, no matter who it was, we're gonna play them. It doesn't matter what group they are. It doesn't matter if they're private, public. It doesn't matter to him. And we didn't care. We just wanted to play. Like we picked up Group 4 Scotch Plains, who that was probably the biggest group team we've played in. It was, I think, it might tie like the biggest group we've played in our football history. So, we were ready to play everybody, and you really had to have that mindset because you didn't know what teams were going to cancel. You didn't know what teams were going to have a case that week, and it was tough, and you just had to stay mentally prepared and mentally tough for that.
How was it within the team itself? Knowing and with the coaches trying to inform you guys as much as possible, and then of course to be safe, set around family, friends, and of course teammates as well. Tyler.
So myself and a few other seniors, we sat together one night and we really thought about like what ways can we make this season extend as long as possible. And one of the things we decided to like let the rest of our team know that we were going to go all virtual from school, just so that we didn't risk the fact of running into a teacher that had it or running into a classmate that had it that wasn't part of the football team and maybe didn't take it as seriously as we did to have a season. So we all made ourselves virtual, and that actually really helped us because there was a case in the school, and the soccer team didn't get to play for 2 weeks, or a few kids didn't, and it really hurt them and those kids. But we made that decision we looked ahead, and we thought that was the best decision for us and the team, and it really ended up working out. And we were able to get those full 8 games in.
Yeah, I mean, 7-1, 3-1 in the league. USA Today Network Super Football Conference Group 1 Team of the Year, and SFC, National Weight Division champs. I mean, as you said, very, tough not being able to have any, state playoff games and, and shoot for a state, championship. But, to accomplish those, said goals, just to see what you were able to do with that schedule. I mean, what did that mean to you and the rest of the senior class?
It definitely meant a lot. That's something we've worked for a while, to be recognized like that and to get all those accolades, and we really impressed ourselves, I think, with what we did. And, we were definitely all very happy about that.
Hey, snapping Verona's 13-game winning streak. Definitely, I'm sure that the highlight of the season. Tyler, can you talk about that game?
Absolutely. We grew up playing them. They're our rivals. We don't like them. They don't like us. So, that game definitely was – going into that game was definitely one of the craziest things ever. Losing to them last year at our home field, losing to them the year before at their place, we couldn't lose to them 3 times in a row. And, we came out there and did what we had to do.
Yeah. And you guys won your last 5 games of the season. So I'm sure like ending on that kind of high note, really meant a lot. And like, you got, to go out on that, as said, can you talk about that, Tyler?
Yeah, definitely. Going out on that high note was awesome. Going out my last game on a win, beating Boot in our second to last game, which was definitely awesome. Avenging our state final loss.
Yeah.
Going out on that high note was awesome, because I'm never going to play with those kids again. Yeah. So that was really special for me and definitely my teammates.
How emotional was that final game? Taking that Cedar Grove, jersey off for one final time. I had to ask you about that, Tyler.
It really sucked, to be honest. Playing that game, not that I didn't want to play that game, but it was tough to get through it. Watching the clock tick down quarter by quarter, knowing that I was never going to play football on that field again.
Yeah,
I have my helmet like in my room, and I look at it all the time. It really sucks that I'm never going to be able to put it on with those kids and that team ever again. It's going to be different playing for someone else whatever happens, but it's just playing with that group of guys, getting through that last game on that field, like putting on my cleats, stepping on that turf. It was definitely awesome, but it it was really sad to see it come to an end.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hey, you had an outstanding, year. I mean, nearly 300 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, another 230 plus yards, receiving yards, 4 TDs, and then defensively, 46 tackles. I think playing the outside linebacker position. Can you sum up, your senior year? I mean, what you were able to, do there out on the field on both sides of the ball, Tyler?
I was definitely happy with myself, how I played this year. I definitely put a lot of work in over the off season, whether it was going to showcases, camps, going to Zoom calls, listening to coaches. I really put in that extra time, that extra work this year because I wanted my senior year to be definitely memorable for me and for my team. I know if I got better, my team was also going to get better. And I know that my friends did the same and they knew the same thing. So I was really happy with the way I played. And, I really couldn't have asked for a better season.
Yeah, this was a potent offense. I mean, you talk about, that definitely thrived. I mean, putting up nearly 37 points a game. I mean, you talk about the running back core, the wide receivers. I mean, quarterback Derry O'Brien.
Yep.
Can you talk about just, everybody being in sync, and then the offensive line, the job they did as well for you, especially when you were running the ball, Tyler?
Yeah, our coach, Coach Gogarty, he really preached us putting up points, and no one was able to stop our offense. And we put up, like you said, over 37 points a game, and it was just we really were all on the same page. Nobody was jealous of who scored. Nobody wanted every single touchdown. Whoever it went to, and we celebrated everything. And I think that was a big part of to why we're just so successful, because if you're not selfish and you play for each other, just everything comes a lot easier. And I think, we really did that very well. And that was something that a lot of teams couldn't stop on the offensive side of the ball. And our offensive line, we passed the ball a lot, protecting our quarterback, Dario. He was given a lot of time to throw. And it was definitely it helped him out a lot, and it helped out our offense a lot, being all on the same page.
Yeah, no, agreed. Hey, you guys are coming off a successful 2019 season. I mean, 8-4, 3-3 in the league. I said you had over 500 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns. I said 63 tackles, 95 yards receiving, touchdown as well. I had to ask you, from 2019, 2020, these last 2 years, I mean, you were really able to, flourish and just, really excel on the field. Can you talk about just that steady, improvement, these past 2 years?
Yeah, definitely. I think it really started all my freshman year, watching that team, those seniors, they made it to the playoffs. That was my first time. I didn't play my freshman year. That was my first time watching from the sidelines a high school football game and being in a high school practice, knowing what it takes, knowing the hours you got to put in. Going into my sophomore year, I started to play a little, and I started to realize, this isn't just playing with little kids anymore. Like, these are grown kids, and you gotta get up to that level, gotta get up to that size, like both mentally and physically. So then getting into my junior year, I had a lot of opportunity to watch. I watched a lot of film. I really prepped myself, and going into that season, I know my team did too. And we were able to accomplish a lot my junior year, especially for everyone and all the work that everybody put in. And going into my senior year, just building and building upon that to get better and just helping out my team as much as I could. It was really awesome.
I've talked to a number of players, of course, Brian and Anthony, about the training, that you got, I mean, you can't take a day off. If you want to be the best, you have to put in the time, and I had to ask you, these past couple of years, especially during the off season, Tyler, what you were able to do, to, again, see, you see the results, definitely paid off here.
Yeah. Definitely. I put myself through a lot of like physical stuff. I worked out with a lot of very good trainers, a lot of people that have been in the NFL, been around pro people, have that type of knowledge. And, it really makes a difference. And those people know things that a lot of other people don't. Watching videos on Instagram, following these pages that know a lot about football and that critique certain things, it really helps. And just putting in that extra work, no matter if it's mentally, physically, for the team, for yourself, it really means a lot. And you got to take pride in that.
That's great. You mentioned head coach, said Brian Gogarty. Can you talk about him, the coaching staff, just what they meant to you over these past 4 years in terms of your development on the field?
Yeah, Coach Gogarty, one of the best coaches I've ever had in my life. He's an ultimate competitor. I don't know anybody more competitive than him. Like, he was a Cedar Grove guy. He knows what it takes. He played in a state championship. He won a state championship. I think almost every single one of our coaches played and won a state championship. And they really know what it takes. And those guys were an awesome coaching staff to be a part of. They had a lot of knowledge to share with us, and they really prepared us for every game, every week, had awesome game plans, awesome schemes, broke down film really well. And they really just helped us out as much as they could. And, it was all to us on the field, but they gave us the resources, and, we had to use them.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think that's so pivotal that you have coaches that can relate to the players and that have actually, come played in the system. And I think that really, again, you see what, again, since he's been there, the job he's done and, the record shows. I had to ask you, wearing that number 1 jersey, what that Cedar Grove, high school football jersey means to you personally, Tyler.
It means a lot. I'm a huge Cedar Grove guy. I wouldn't want to grow up anywhere else. Coming in freshman year, getting the number 1 jersey, like
Yeah.
I was a freshman, like it felt like out of place. Like I shouldn't
Yeah.
be wearing this jersey. Like someone who's a senior and plays should be wearing number 1. Like
Yeah.
I know it's just a number, but like you think
Yeah.
about it and it's like number 1. It's
Yeah.
just whatever that is. And then so, that means a lot playing for Cedar Grove. In 8th grade, I almost went to private school. I was looking at a bunch of schools and, staying home with my friends really, and being that group of guys that we knew when we were seniors, if we put in that work, we could play for a state championship, and winning it with my friends would have been better than winning it with any other school I played for. So wearing that Cedar Grove jersey for the last time, my last game, it really hit home, and it's something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And I really appreciate that.
Great. Hey, you're not the biggest guy, but you show definitely a lot of heart, on the field. I have to ask you, the pounding you take every week and be able to get off the mat and recover and train and then come back for the next week. Not an easy task, Tyler.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm not the biggest guy out there, but I play with a lot of heart. I'm really tough. I play tough out there, and I think that's really all it takes. If you play with a big heart, you can play with anybody, and you really do take a beating. Going for treatments Saturday morning with our trainer, going to other places we have. They give us different types of therapies and works on other parts of our body and stuff.
Yeah.
But you got to pay respect to yourself, and treat yourself right like that, and because that's the way that's how you're gonna keep playing. So
Yeah.
that was definitely really important.
Well said. I just have a couple more. Can't thank you enough for the time, Tyler.
Okay.
As I said, I know it's been difficult going all virtual, remote, from home here. I'm sure like previous years, just that build up towards game week, in the hallways, in the classroom. I mean, everybody talking about an upcoming game. I had to ask you the support that you've, received, from your fellow classmates, the administration, athletic director, and then of course the town of Cedar Grove as well, Tyler.
Yeah, that was one part I definitely really missed throughout the week, getting ready, wearing our jerseys on Friday to school. Teachers are asking, what's the game looking like? We gonna win? What's happening? Who we playing? Cedar Grove's really it's a big football town, I'd say. Probably football is the main thing. And the town really backs us. The administration absolutely backs us. They're on the sideline every game. This year, they were on the sideline every game, masks and all. They really made it a priority for us to be under that spotlight, and for the town to know. They did a very good job putting out live streams. Because my family, big football family, they would usually come to the games. And so giving my extended family that link to go watch the live stream was definitely important for me. And I know it was definitely important for my teammates, and they did a really good job with making sure we were able to be watched and we were able to spread it to the community.
That's great. And we know it's just not about being a football player, and it as well as you play lacrosse is also.
Yeah.
I mean, but I had to ask you, 3.8 GPA. You've been able to really master that as far as balancing that act. Between the books and being an athlete. I had to ask you. Everybody talks about time management and being organized. Can you just talk how you've been able to again excel at being a student as well?
Yeah, so my parents were definitely something very important to them was that in high school, if I'm going to be playing a sport, my GPA has to be up. I have to be doing my schoolwork, and they really put that on me, and I really took it to heart. And just I think being in season helps me a lot more. I think my time management is a lot better in season. I know what I have to get done. I know I have to go to practice. I have to get this done before, this done after. But time management definitely something you got to practice. And something that it's not easy. It's easy to get distracted, especially now at home. It's very easy to get distracted in class, between classes, when you're out of school doing something, so a notification pops up on your phone.
Yeah.
Very easy to get distracted, but I think you got to teach yourself a lot of self-discipline and be able to stay focused on getting those grades and, staying in school and playing hard on the field.
Definitely. I had to ask you, of course, with the college process, how that is working out for you right now, Tyler.
It was definitely fun to be a part of, definitely. I didn't get to experience it like a lot of other kids
Yeah.
did, but definitely the virtual visits were pretty cool. Going on campus when that was possible was definitely pretty cool. The only thing I'd say, going on campus, there's not a lot of kids. There weren't many kids, if not any kids. So, that was definitely one of the most difficult parts. Like looking at a school, you don't know what a campus feels like really. So, but definitely being part of the college surge is definitely awesome this year. I'm definitely really appreciative to be able to be a part of it.
Any decision made as far as
Not
are you
not
still
right
looking
now.
around right now?
Yeah, not right
Okay.
now, but possibly. I don't
No,
wanna
that's all
say,
right. I just want
but possibly within the next 2 weeks, maybe.
sounds good.
I got
Okay.
what's going on, but yeah, it's possible, possibly soon, but I'm really appreciative for the whole process.
That's great. I can't forget family. I know you mentioned, but if you want to talk about your parents, siblings,
Yeah,
and just what they meant to you here, this entire journey,
yeah,
Tyler.
definitely. My parents were very, very supportive of me ever since I was very young for playing sports. I was a like 3 or 4 sport athlete throughout elementary and middle school, and then really narrowed down on football and lacrosse. And definitely my dad and mom, they were definitely very adamant about taking me to get better. And they really took me wherever I needed to get better. No matter if it was hours away, if we had to take a plane ride, it was definitely very important to them to see me have fun, for the most part, really, and succeed. And, I had a lot of fun getting better and going to all these showcases and tournaments for both football and lacrosse and just getting better. And that was really fun for me. And I'm really appreciative of them for taking me. I also have 2 twin brothers. They're sophomores. They actually just transferred out of Cedar Grove to St. Joe's. So, that was a
Okay.
blow to me. But it's all right though.
Yeah.
I know they're supportive of me and I'm supportive of them wherever they choose to go. So, it's a really good thing.
Yeah, that's great. It's good to see that. As you said, a huge football family, and it's good to see that definitely carrying through. In terms of playing another sport, is that how it can affect you with another one? I'm wondering what it is about lacrosse, and then how that, again, it benefits you, in playing football as well, Tyler.
Definitely impacts playing football, and football impacts playing lacrosse as well. From a lacrosse standpoint, I think something a lot of lacrosse. I don't want to generalize it, but a lot of lacrosse players aren't as tough as football players. The
Okay.
toughness of playing football,
Yeah.
it really helps in lacrosse.
Yeah.
Not easy to be whacked with a metal
Yeah.
stick,
That's what I was gonna say.
but it doesn't take that much of a beating when you're used to getting tackled and helmets and cleats. So
Yeah.
that definitely helps. And from a football standpoint, definitely the conditioning of lacrosse,
Yeah.
the constant running up and down the field.
Hmm.
I played midfield, so it's nonstop. And, that definitely helps. And they definitely correlate with one another.
That's great. I'm wondering when it comes to college and the NFL, any set players you pay close attention to, Tyler?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm a big Christian McCaffrey fan.
Oh yeah.
I think he's an awesome athlete. I think he'd do everything.
Yeah.
And he's definitely a guy I look up to. I'm also a huge Adam Thielen fan. I just love the way he runs routes, and he's a very good receiver. I also love Justin Jefferson on the Vikings. I'm not a Vikings fan, but I like those 2 receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I love watching NFL and college football.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's great. Hey, final question I have is and being a senior, and the fact that you were able to definitely pass down all the knowledge, all the experience, the years that you've been through, the ups and downs, the rigors of the game, you know with the younger freshmen and sophomores. You were there one time. I'm wondering what advice not only you have for those players, but also previous years you saw a lot of kids at these games, and they definitely say want to play varsity football one day at Cedar Grove. Wondering what advice you have for those younger people out there.
Definitely to those freshmen and sophomores. I remember a senior telling it to me after his last game. cherish every moment of this because it goes quick. And like, I'm like, all right, yeah, like, sure, I will. And then you think about it now and you're like, it does. Like, take that advice because it does. It does go
Yeah.
quick. And definitely to those young kids, who want to play high school football and you're going to those high school games. I remember being a kid with all my friends and who are all seniors now, running the bottom of the bleachers, just having fun at those high school football
Yeah.
games, watching, imagining, being, wow, when am I going to get
Yeah.
here? It seems so far away. Then you get there and you're like, wow, I'm here already. And it's a grind. If you want to do it, you definitely have to get into the grind. You gotta better yourself, miss going out on the weekends with your friends. You gotta stay in, do your homework, work out. It's not easy not hanging out with your friends and to get better and missing out on going out places or going over someone's house. So you really got to take pride in bettering yourself, and you know what it's going to pay off for in the long run.
Sounds good. Well said, Tyler. Hey, again, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to interview you. Congratulations again on a spectacular career there at Cedar Grove High School. And also congrats on your upcoming graduation, in a couple of months, and wishing you all the best with college in the fall.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank
Thank you.
you.